I used to believe lawyers were soulless creatures who smiled only when they smelled money. Then I met Adrian. And let me tell you, the bastard didn't just smiley shattered me with it. The first time I saw him, he was standing in front of a packed courtroom in downtown Chicago, his voice slicing through the stale air like a blade. Every word rolled off his tongue with an arrogance that made the jury lean forward, spellbound. Adrian Blackwell, famous for being ruthless, untouchable, and devastatingly brilliant. And I hated him instantly, not because of the way he destroyed the opposing counsel without breaking a sweat, or how he won the case like it was child's play. No, I hated him because somewhere between his cool smirk and the way he loosened his tie afterward, I caught myself thinking, God, he's beautiful. But I didn't come here to admire him. I came because my brother's life had been ruined by the very corporation Adrian had just defended. The irony? Adrian had just won the biggest lawsuit of his career, the case that put his name in headlines. The one that crushed families like mine. And yet, fate had the audacity to throw us into the same bar that night, when I was drowning my anger in whiskey and he was celebrating victory with champagne. Wrong bar, sweetheart, he said when he noticed me glaring from the corner stool. His voice was calm, like he owned the room. I shot back, or maybe it's the wrong lawyer. He laughed low, rich, infuriating. That laugh crawled under my skin, made me want to throw my drink in his face and kiss him all at once. I told myself I despised him, but the truth? I was already doomed. Adrian wasn't supposed to notice me. I was just another bitter man in the crowd, another casualty of his talent. But he did notice. His gaze lingered too long, as if he was dissecting me, peeling back layers I didn't even know I had. And when he finally walked over, his cologne hit me before his words did, clean, sharp, intoxicating. You've got a dangerous stare, he murmured. Careful. Someone might think you're falling for me. I should have walked away. Instead, I leaned in closer. Trust me, if I ever fall, it won't be for someone like you. But even then, my voice cracked. The weeks that followed should have been simple. I hated Adrian. Adrian didn't care about me, and the world kept turning. But life doesn't play fair. Our paths kept crossing at fundraisers, at the gym, even once at a coffee shop where he ordered his latte with such precision it was borderline psychotic. And every time, I discovered something I wasn't prepared for. His quiet acts of kindness when no one was watching, the way his mask slipped when he thought he was alone, the fragility buried beneath his icy exterior. He wasn't just a lawyer. He was a man carrying too many secrets. And maybe, just maybe, he was lonelier than I was. One rainy night, everything snapped. I had been drinking again, trying to drown memories of my brother's broken future. Adrian found me sitting on the curb outside the courthouse like some cliché tragedy. He didn't mock me. He didn't throw his victory in my face. He just took off his coat and draped it over my shoulders. Why do you care? I whispered. His answer was so soft, I almost missed it under the rain. Because I can't stop. That was the night I realized I wasn't fighting him anymore. I was fighting myself. Adrian and I collided in every possible wyonger, attraction, fear, desire. We argued about justice, about morality, about love. He was infuriatingly stubborn, but every time his hand brushed mine, the world went quiet. I wanted to hate him forever, but the truth was brutal. Adrian Blackwell had won more than his case. He had won me, and it terrified me more than any courtroom battle ever could. That's the beginning of our story. A cold lawyer, a broken man, and a love that wasn't supposed to exist. Because in a world that thrived on power and profit, we were the mistake no one saw coming. Yet sometimes the most dangerous mistakes are the ones that save us. Adrian once told me that every courtroom battle has 3 phases: the setup, the clash, and the verdict. What he didn't realize was that our story followed the same pattern. And now, standing at the edge of losing him forever, I understood we had reached our final verdict. The scandal broke on a Tuesday morning. His law firm, the empire he had built his entire reputation on, was accused of covering up evidence tied directly to the case that had ruined my brother's life. Reporters swarmed the streets, his face plastered on every screen, Every headline screaming about betrayal and corruption. I should have celebrated. God knows, part of me wanted to. But when I saw Adrian on the steps of the courthouse, pale, hollow-eyed, his armor stripped away, I didn't feel triumph. I felt pain, because I loved him, and loving him meant his downfall felt like mine. That night, he came to me, drenched in rain, trembling in a way I'd never seen before. "Tell me you believe me," he whispered, his voice breaking. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But trust isn't easy when the man you love is the same man who once destroyed your family. "I don't know if I can," I said. My words were knives, but they cut me too. Adrian's jaw clenched, his mask trying to reform, but it was too late. His eyes betrayed him. Then I've already lost more than any court could take from me. He left, and the silence he left behind was unbearable. Days blurred into weeks. He was suspended from the firm, dragged through the mud by the media. I avoided him, convinced it was the right thing to do, yet every night I found myself staring at my phone, waiting for a text that never came. It wasn't until I discovered the truth buried deep in old files my brother had kept that everything shifted. Adrian hadn't covered up evidence. He had fought to reveal it. It was his firm, his so-called allies, who betrayed him. He had been protecting the very people he loved while letting the world think he was heartless. I had doubted him, and in doing so I had broken us. The next time I saw him was at the bar where it all began. He sat alone in the corner, glass untouched, shoulders heavy with defeat. For once, he didn't look like Adrian Blackwell, the ruthless lawyer. He looked like a man waiting for the verdict on his soul. I walked up, heart pounding. "Wrong bar, sweetheart." His head snapped up, surprise flickering in his eyes. Then came the faintest ghost of a smile. "Or maybe it's the right one this time." I slid into the seat across from him, my throat tight. "I'm sorry. For not believing you. For walking away when you needed me most." He studied me for a long moment, and when he finally spoke, his voice was raw. "Do you have any idea what it feels like, loving someone who has every reason to hate you?" "Yes," I whispered, "because I've been living it too." We didn't fix everything that night. Love doesn't erase scars, and forgiveness doesn't erase the past. But when he reached across the table and his fingers laced with mine, I knew we were choosing each other despite it all. And maybe that was enough. Months passed. The investigation cleared his name, though the law firm he once ruled crumbled to dust. He didn't mourn it. "They were never my family," he told me. "But maybe you could be." So we built something new together. It wasn't grand or glamorous, just two men learning how to heal, how to laugh again, how to find warmth in the ordinary. I watched him trade his $1,000 suits for worn-out hoodies on lazy Sundays. I watched him burn pancakes because he refused to admit he couldn't cook. And I watched him, one quiet evening, as he touched the scar on my brother's hand and said, "I can't change the past, but I can promise you, I'll spend the rest of my life making sure I never hurt him or you again." That was the moment I realized Adrian Blackwell hadn't just stolen my heart. He had rebuilt it. People still whisper about us, about how a cold lawyer and a broken man could possibly find happiness in a world that thrives on power and pain. But the truth is simple. Love doesn't follow rules. Love doesn't wait for permission. Sometimes love is the case you're destined to lose. And sometimes if you're lucky, it's the one you win when you least deserve it. 1 year later, on a golden autumn evening, he pulled me into his arms outside the courthouse where it all began. "You once told me you'd never fall for someone like me," he teased, his lips brushing mine. I smiled, leaning into him. Guess the jury's still out. And when he kissed Meslow, fierce, certain I knew the verdict at last. We weren't perfect. We were messy, flawed, stubborn as hell. But we were real. And in a world built on battles, we had finally won the only one that mattered. That's how the cold lawyer who conquered every courtroom lost the only fight he never expected to fight for his own heart. And thank God he did. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.